We welcome you to Big Red Country, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Pre-game concert, Tuesday night action in Conference USA. Willie Simmons leads FIU in to try and take down the Hilltoppers, looking to become the first bowl-eligible team in the conference. It is FIU and Western Kentucky coming up. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, a matchup of two really talented quarterbacks tonight. For FIU, it's a 3-year starter who really needs to be the star for this team for Willie Simmons and company to turn it around.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's Kewan Jenkins. He's got to play well here tonight. What I love about him is his ability to be able to throw wide receivers open. What I mean is a guy actually doesn't have to be open for him to be able to fit the football in there. He's really elite at this and one of the best in the conference. Where he puts a lot of stress on defenses, though, Chucky, is with his legs. He's a dual threat guy, but he's incredibly athletic. So when he takes that football down and takes off, he can make a difference and can make an impact. I believe it's his running game, Chucky, that's going to be big for them today. Because if they can hold the possession a little bit more, that's going to bode well for them here tonight. But he's a great quarterback.
On the other side, a guy that might have played with you back in the day, but Maverick McIver, who's 25 years old on his third school. He is the latest in a long line of gunslingers here in Bowling Green.
Yeah, you mentioned his age. With age comes experience, and that's what I love about him, is his ability to be able to go through progressions quickly. He's an accurate passer, and he's not rattled. It takes a lot to get him off kilter and off key. He's really good. They're going to need him to perform early in this game because we've seen them struggle when he's not lights out in the beginning and they can start slow. So for him, it's really going to be about starting fast here tonight, but we've got two great quarterbacks that we'll be able to watch here today.
Maverick McIver comes in for Tyson Helton in year 7. It has been an offensive masterclass since 2021. They've had 5 different offensive coordinators since that year, but we'll tell you tonight why that has been a good thing for Western Kentucky. A lot of talented names coming out of here. On the other side, Willie Simmons, his first year as head coach at FIU, his first head coaching job at the FBS level. He was at Duke last year as a running backs coach, but he won the HBCU National Championship at Florida A&M back in 2023. So a guy who knows how to win football games, trying to get their season back on the right track after back-to-back losses.
I think that makes it super exciting for tonight where you've got two coaches who know how to win. They know how to build culture, so it's exciting to watch that continue to play out as the season progresses.
Western Kentucky won the toss and elected to defer. Saquon Jean-Pierre deep to return for FIU. A dangerous return man, had 15 returns of 30 or more yards a season ago. Jack Cassidy has a big leg, though, so it's unlikely Jean-Pierre will get a chance tonight to do any damage in the special teams game. And we will see for the first time the junior out of Miami Central High School, Kewan Lights Out Jenkins. It's been a little bit tougher start to the season for him. The expectations were high. Willie Simmons talked about that and said he understands that. He's trying to help him in that side of the game.
Certainly rare to be a new coach, come with a new team, and not have to worry about getting a new quarterback.
Kewan Jenkins already top 4 in some of the big categories in FIU's young football history. Play action, throwing downfield. That is a dart to Alex Perry, who drops the football. But they're going to say he was down. It's going to be a really nice pickup of 16 on the first play of the game.
This is an excellent job by Perry, coming all the way across the formation and across the middle of the field to be able to catch this football. Looks like he trips a little bit there, and the ground caused that fumble, so an excellent call by the officials.
Again, going to the air, down the sideline with a flag on the field, little back shoulder throw, and it's Perry again working against Nazir Ward. They're getting their #1 receiver involved early on. We've just got to see what the penalty flag is back at the line of scrimmage.
We'll get the call here, Chucky, but that was an elite pass. My goodness, was that an accurate pass where only Perry could catch it.
Offside. Defense, number 21. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, it's first down.
The linebacker, Jalen Wester, who is their leading tackler. What a throw, though, by Jenkins.
You mentioned throwing the wide receiver open. Look at that ball. It's perfectly placed where only the wide receiver has an opportunity to catch it.
Alex Perry leads them in receptions, yards, and a couple receiving touchdowns on the year. They need their #1 to be big tonight against this Western Kentucky pass defense, which is one of the best in the league over the last couple seasons. Jenkins throwing again, downfield, Perry again, and that time tight coverage by Dylan Flowers.
Jenkins pass intended for number 24, Corvo.
Defensively, the way to slow them down is to make sure that your secondary folks are in position. You got to make sure that you keep guys in position. We have not seen Keyshawn Owens yet run the football. He's number 5. He'll be right to the right of Jenkins in the backfield. They have leaned on him quite a bit early in this season. Look for him to get some touches here moving forward.
Keywan and Keyjohn in the backfield. Man in motion is McGuire. Anderson hasn't caught a pass in 2 weeks. Jenkins on the keeper is dragged backwards. It's the defensive back, Nazir Ward, who makes the tackle.
Heads up play from Ward here to get the quarterback down, but watch Jalen Wester here, number 21. He's the guy who gets there first to try to get the QB down. And then the crew rallies. That's a big stop. Brings up a 3rd down situation.
3rd and 11 after 2 big plays got them all the way down inside the Western Kentucky 25-yard line. The drive in danger of stalling. Low snap to Jenkins, trying to get it out quickly to Owens, who has a little space, but he's cut down around the 20-yard line. And again, it's Nazir Ward.
You can tell that for Ward, this is his 3rd year in the program. He's really starting to come into his own where he's playing lights out fast. Excellent job by getting down a really good running back in open space.
So the kicker tonight will be Noah Grant, who's done a little bit of the kicking this year already, but Robert Saremcha, who has done more of it, pulled his groin in warm-up. So it's Noah Grant who will have all the kicking duty tonight on kickoffs and field goals. He's 1 for 2 on the season with a 26-yard make. This is from 37, and it's up, and it's good. So a good start for FIU and Noah Grant as they put 3 on the board just 2.5 minutes in here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. just about to get our first look at this Western Kentucky offense, which ranks atop Conference USA in all the major categories, which has become a theme under Tyson Helton dating back to his 3rd year in 2021. They are at it again, and they'll look to take an early lead with an opening drive touchdown on their first possession. Cameron Flowers deep to return from Noah Grant, whose 37-yard field goal moments ago was a career long for him. This is a shorter kickoff and fielded by Flowers at the 5-yard line. Trying to go toward the sideline where he's going to be wrapped up and drugged down near the 23. And that's where we'll see the Hilltoppers for the first time offensively. Led by the graduate student from San Angelo, Texas, by way of Texas Tech, and the last 3 seasons at Abilene Christian, where he threw for over 8,000 yards. He's approaching the 10,000-yard mark on his career, and he joins a long line of really talented quarterbacks that have played here. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. It's a 25-year-old quarterback and a true freshman, Marvis Parrish, in the backfield with him. Play action pass. McIver steps up, pocket collapsing, but delivers it downfield to Matthew Henry. And Henry toward the sideline where he's tripped up inside the 35. And it's big plays galore for these two offenses.
Now for FIU, they got Brian Blades back, number 2 at corner. He's the one who's covering Henry right now. He slips a little bit on the way in and slips at the end of the route. You have to wonder if he's fully healthy, as he was out last week with an injury. They're testing him early.
They give it to Hutchinson, one of the wide receivers. Trying to get outside and cuts it upfield toward the 25. A pickup of about 6 yards on 1st down, dragged down by Blades and Cheney.
It's a big-time pickup on 1st down because it opens up the playbook on 2nd down after you pick up those big yards on 1st down. Katie Hutchinson, they will move number 2 all across the formation, so don't be surprised to see him to move around.
2nd and 4, McIver throwing outside incomplete pass to set up 3rd down. And big news for FIU tonight, Brian Blades and Shamir Sterling return. They both missed last week. Blades has missed the last 2 games, but that's been part of their issue the last couple weeks, pass defense.
Yeah, especially in the deep balls as well. So they're excited to get Blades back, as well as Sterling. 2 critical pieces to them defensively.
A big 3rd down for McIver. George Hart in the backfield. They're going to run it behind Hart. McIver on the keeper. Cuts upfield, and he's got a 1st down. Spun around near the 12-yard line, but a big pickup for McIver. We've talked all about the arm, but he's got some pretty good speed, too.
Well, I'm also impressed with the line play. Watch Kirsten Upchurch here, number 74, the right tackle. He pulls from his position and gets outside. Makes a key block to get McIver upfield. You mentioned it. He's got some wheels there. A little bit unassuming as a runner. He certainly will take advantage of the defense if he can.
This is the #1 red zone offense in Conference USA and top 40 in the nation. McIver to one of his tight ends, Noah Myers, who gets to the 10-yard line. Short pickup on 1st down. Johnny Cheney, who came over from Colorado, played 3 years for Willie Simmons at FAMU before that.
He really pops on film. I love what Cheney does. He's really good in space, as you see there, able to get runners down by himself. That's a key skill for a linebacker.
Three receivers to the left side. Matthew Henry, McIver's #1 in motion. He's all alone on the far side of the field. McIver dancing around a little bit of pressure and getting space around another man. He's going to take off this time and dives forward to the 6-yard line, but he was closed down quickly by Mr. Clark, one of their top tacklers from the nickel spot.
We got someone down in white there. Looks like that's Zion Chapman.
Officials timeout for an injury to the defense.
Number 90, the defensive lineman there. Now, he was chasing McIver in that play. Wasn't able to get there. Not sure exactly what happened to him. But that's just a heads-up play from an experienced quarterback. And McIver being able to turn that into a positive play. We'll take another look at it. He's going to look to his right not see anything. He's trying to buy some time here, too, with backing up to try to find a defender. And then you look at 90 there, trailing behind him. Dives to try to get him. We'll have to check on Chapman.
It's a big man laying his body out, too. 6'4", 300-pound redshirt sophomore from Allentown, Pennsylvania, transferred in from Lackawanna College. He is a big, strong dude, set his high school's record in the shot put.
Watched that film last week, Chucky, against UConn. Chapman made a lot of plays there. It's good to see him up, walking off on his own strength. But they're going to miss him in that interior on the defensive line for sure.
We'll keep an eye on big number 90 on the sideline, see if he's able to return to this game. Willie Simmons and FIU have lost 2 straight. Lost to Delaware, had a bye week, came back and lost to UConn in a disappointing performance a week ago. And another big challenge this week on the road at Western Kentucky. It's 3rd down as play resumes. KD Hutchinson in motion. McIver looking right side on a slant pattern, and that is picked off. He threw it right to the DB. Mr. Clark, his 2nd of the season, one of their very talented young DBs.
Well, Mr. Clark really baits McIver here. He's going to get really low in the middle of this defense. You'll see 27. He's just going to sneak down, kneel down, and then jump the route. Does an excellent job. FIU takes over on down.
Coming up this Saturday, it's SEC on ABC. 2 great matchups, 5th-ranked Ole Miss and 9th-ranked Georgia facing off at 3:30 Eastern. The Rebels looking to knock off the Bulldogs for the 2nd year in a row. And then we cap the day with the 108th meeting between number 11 Tennessee and number 6 Alabama. Vols looking for their first win in Tuscaloosa since 2003. Every game also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC All Day, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Let's take another look at this here, Chucky. Watch this offensively. The 2 wide receivers on the outside are going to cross. They're assuming this is man-on-man, but it's actually zone. And Mr. Clark does a tremendous job of just settling in and then jumping the route at the end. Excellent team defense there. That's a system play. And one of the playmakers making another play.
Just a redshirt sophomore. Played in just 6 games over his first couple seasons, but having a great sophomore campaign so far. Sets up FIU with the football inside their own 5, so they've got to be careful here. Western Kentucky dialing up the pressure. Handoff up the middle and some space here. Downfield, a big-time run on first down for Anthony Carey. Cuts it back across field. And finally tripped up and dragged down at the 14. It's actually Keyshawn Owens, the Miami native, on the carry.
Chucky, we were wondering when he was going to get the football, but for Western Kentucky, they blitzed the linebacker, Brackenridge. Watch number 3. He's going to be in the middle. He blitzes. The place where he vacates is actually where Owens comes out with the big run on that spot. But a big-time play.
That was their first time out of the half.
For FIU.
Willie Simmons, Darius, has had some good ones, but he talked about how much they love Keyshawn Owens. He is special.
This is one of those live by it, die by it. When you blitz your backer, sometimes you could get your defense out of position, which is what they did there. And then Owens just showing you the wheels and the wiggle to be able to get to that second level and keep it downfield. But he is a terrific running back. Watch this cut here. Plant that foot in the ground and go upfield. He pops on film. He is a guy who is super strong with his legs, but I think his elusiveness is a little bit unassuming. You don't recognize just how quick and how shifty he is as a running back. Definitely one of the best in Conference USA.
5 touchdowns, leads the league. He and Keyshawn Jenkins went to the same high school at Miami Central High School. So 2 local products, staying home, playing at FIU, and making a big impact. Owens the back, Jenkins steps up under center. First down at the 14-yard line. They go back to Owens. And not much on first down.
This is what Western Kentucky is going to have to do defensively, is win that line of scrimmage. Jaden Hardy, number 98 that time, used that big frame up front to really clog it up to where there's no running lanes for Keyshawn Owens. Now, second down here, Chucky. One of the things that they like to do is to target number 4, Alex Perry. He'll be at the top of the screen. Looks like he could have one-on-one coverage on the outside. Could be favorable matchup.
They went to him back-to-back plays to open the game and connected in a big way. Back to Owens, who's trying to bounce it outside. A physical finish to the run, but he's down to just the 11-yard line.
Nice job by Brackenridge there, coming down from his linebacker position to cut the edge. Number 3.
That one was Anthony Carey. The 5 and 6 are getting me in the booth right now.
You got to make sure, if you're Western Kentucky, that you take away these running lanes. So these linebackers are crucial at this stage.
That's Dallas Payne, the big tight end that came with Nick Coleman, the offensive coordinator from UAB. Jenkins looking toward the end zone. It's batted away. Tight coverage by Dylan Flowers. They were looking the direction of Perry again.
Yeah, this is an excellent job by Flowers. He was all over Perry that entire route. And then did a tremendous job at the end and getting that right arm up in the air to knock that football away. Nice job on defense for the Hilltoppers.
I gotta think FIU frustrated with the way these drives have ended. You're playing against a team who averages over 30 points per game in Western Kentucky offensively. Noah Grant from the right hash out for his second field goal of the night from 28 yards. And again, Grant connects. Off to a good start, filling in for the injured Robert Saremcha. 6-0 FIU on the road with 7:37 to play in the first quarter. 6-0 FIU over Western Kentucky midway through the first quarter here in Bowling Green. Well, here's how the Conference USA standings are shaping up early on. Western Kentucky trying to be the first team to get to 4-0. Kennesaw State off to a great start this season. There are other surprises in there that teams maybe don't want to be seen, but FIU talked to us. Willie Simmons said we still feel like we control our own destiny in the conference.
I mean, they most certainly do. There's a lot of conference play left. FIU certainly still in it as they move along. But this is a big problem from Western Kentucky here today, Chucky. We talked about this at the top. Them starting slow. It's happened to them a couple of times this season. The first time it happened was against Toledo. They did not win that game. They're off to a slow start right now.
Kickoff is going to go out of bounds from Noah Grant and give Western Kentucky really good field position to start their second offensive drive. FIU defense bending but not breaking last time with
Free
the
kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
interception inside the 5-yard line by Mr. Clark. Western Kentucky has trailed in the first half of 6 of their 7 games this season. They entered tonight 5-1. Their lone loss at Toledo in a disappointing performance from the Hilltoppers.
And that's the thing, Chucky. They have been hurting themselves a lot this season, having to play perfect football in the second half. Certainly something you don't want to continue to do, particularly in conference play here.
And another reason why FIU wants touchdowns instead of field goals. They know what kind of second half team they're dealing with. This is the freshman Marvis Parrish, who's across midfield with a 16-yard pickup on first down.
Looks like we got an injured player, but Parrish does a nice job of just going behind.
For an injured offensive player.
Noah Myers there, the tight end, cuts up inside. They're really high on this freshman running back. They move him around in the backfield as well. Also good with his hands as a wide receiver.
The injured player for Western Kentucky is their top wide receiver, Matthew Henry. We've already seen make 1 catch today for 46 yards.
Let's take another look at this. Zero. He's at the top of the screen there. Kind of runs into Parrish a bit there at the end of that play.
Did he get hit in the face? It looked like a hand went up and got in his face mask.
In the eyeball or something?
Yeah. Keep an eye on Henry.
He's certainly going to miss him. He's been their big play guy all season. Especially with the deep field passes. Hopefully Henry can still go. Good to see him up and moving around.
He and McIver both came in via the transfer portal this year. Henry from Western Illinois, McIver from Abilene Christian. McIver play action, rolling out, dumping it off to Myers, who dragging a tackler close to the 41. They'll mark him at the 42-yard line.
So one of the wrinkles of this offense is sending both tight ends out on routes. That time Myers and Howard, number 19, both got out in routes. They do a good job of using some of those big frames to create matchup problems for the defense.
McIver swings it out for Parrish. Cuts up behind the block of Myers, but he'll be just short of a first down, about a half-yard shy of the line to gain.
Johnny Chaney, number 0 that time, was a little slow to getting out to take the running back. Still did a good job of getting him down. These 3rd and short situations for Western Kentucky. They put the big body back in.
It's a toss play to Lavelle Wright, the 222-pounder, showing the speed, getting to the edge. And he's knocked out at the 31, but they get plenty to move the chains.
It's an excellent call by Rick Bowie to put in Lavelle Wright, number 11. Put the big back in short yardage situations. The defense is assuming it'll be a run up the middle to pick up the first down. They bait him with the pitch. Excellent job in execution.
They have really spread the opportunities in that backfield. 3 players with at least 35 carries coming into the night. Handoff to Parrish this time. A lot of daylight outside as he runs into the chest of the tackler and gets to the 16-yard line. Shamir Sterling was there. or else Parrish would have jogged in.
Watch Jermaine Carter here, the defensive tackle number 99. He's completely inside, just misses on the outside. Does not hold his containment there. Parrish able to pick up some big yards on the outside. You got to be able to follow your role. That's one of the things the coaches told us, that they need to be able to make sure that guys are functioning in their own roles.
It's the direct snap to right. They like to get Lavelle Wright the ball in that type of situation. A little bit slow. The snap was kind of high. Johnny Chaney makes the snap, makes the tackle.
And that's the thing here with some of these. You bring in a guy for a wildcat, just not used to the action all of the time. Luckily, that could have been a lot worse than just losing a couple of yards.
Wright stays in the backfield. It's going to set up 2nd and 12. McIver looking to the sideline, and there was some confusion there as he was trying to communicate with Rick Bowie still.
Western Kentucky calls their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
And couldn't quite figure out what they wanted on that play.
I think they were trying to figure out if the linebackers were going to blitz there. They had Chaney and Courtney, number 0 and number 11, both guys walking up to the line there. Caused a little bit of confusion for Western Kentucky on offense.
Those two very familiar with each other. Spent a year together at Abilene Christian. Rick Bowie comes over. Tyson Helton found the quarterback he liked. He said he starts with the quarterback. He starts with a guy that he thinks fits their system, Maverick McIver, and then he goes to the guy that's molded that player and has a conversation and sees if it's a fit. He says he and Rick Bowie are really in rhythm together on the offensive side.
And Bowie calls most of the plays, about 90% of the plays Bowie calls. Helton will chime in and make suggestions, but this is Bowie's offense.
Kelby Williams in motion. McIver looking to throw on 2nd and long, goes underneath. And a big hit at the end of that play at the 15-yard line. Percy Courtney helping finish that. They get Lofton Howard, one of the other tight ends, on the grab.
Well, Lofton Howard's playing a lot today because they lost Justin Wolf. He's out with injury today, the K-State transfer. So Howard's got to go. Nice job of picking up some positive yardage there. Sets up a big 3rd down situation here for Western Kentucky. They like to go to K.D. Hutchins. He's number 2. He'll be in the slot at the bottom of the screen.
Still have not seen Matthew Henry back in the game after he exited a few plays ago. McIver, clean pocket, throwing on a little drag route again to the 10-yard line, knocked out. That's Quincy Burrows, the Wisconsin transfer, on the grab.
I like the play design here from Western Kentucky. They've got Burrows coming all the way across with 3 wide receivers to the strong side, able to help out in protection to block some, try to give him some space. Ends up being a really good job by FIU of getting off the field. So Chucky, we're seeing both teams really struggle to get touchdowns in the red zone so far here tonight.
John Cannon on from the left hash to try and put Western Kentucky on the board, and he does successfully. Neither team able to find the end zone to this point, but Western Kentucky cuts the lead in half on their 2nd offensive possession. Tyson Helton has established the program at Western Kentucky. Willie Simmons is trying to reinvigorate a young program at FIU, so he has instilled the 7 Fs, the pillars of the program: fast, fight, finish. They added faith, family, fundamentals, and fun.
That was one of the things that really stuck out in our conversation with him to me, is those new pillars of faith, family, fundamentals, and fun. Really trying to make sure that in this world of college football that can feel so transactional right now, Chucky, just to remember why you're doing it, why you're playing, and connecting with your brothers. Such an inspiring message from Willie Simmons.
Was now wearing 41.
Jack Cassidy
Now
on
wearing 41.
to kick it away for Western Kentucky. Saquon Jean-Pierre deep to return. And might get a chance here if he wants it from the 5, and he does. Comes John Pierre, big-time return man for FIU. Cuts it upfield and is being spun around. He's finally tackled at the 39, but that is a dangerous return man to give an opportunity to. Sets the Panthers up with good field position.
He is a dynamic return guy with the ball in his hands. You see the lanes get mixed up here for Western Kentucky. Got guys coming inside, getting out of their lane. That exposure opens up some room to the outside for a positive pickup.
We've already had 268 combined yards in this quarter, and we have not seen a touchdown to this point.
Both these defenses bending but not breaking at this moment.
Play action pass. Jenkins looking deep, throwing a little bit shorter over the middle, beyond the reach of his intended target, Jackson Verdugo.
Thought he had Tyson Carter there, number 13, streaking up the middle of the field. You see him in white there. Just not able to see him from Jenkins' vantage point. Did not get there. That might be a missed opportunity that we'll look back on in this series, depending upon how it shakes out.
3 of 6 for 56 yards, so his completions, 2 of them have been big ones. They are without Kyle McNeil, one of their top receivers tonight. Handoff to Carey, who is hit in the backfield and dropped. Miller Malone, one of the linebackers, coming downhill.
He played lights out last week, Malone did. It was an excellent job of tackling in space there, getting it back down. Came up inside to set up this third down situation. Now, one of the guys we haven't seen for FIU is number 84, McGuire Anderson. He's the third guy towards the bottom of the screen. Number 84.
Second most yards on the team, but hasn't caught a pass in 2 weeks. Jenkins in trouble. Here he is using the legs. You talked about it. Floats it downfield. What a play by Jenkins, finding Alex Perry to keep the drive alive.
Just a tremendous heads-up play from Jenkins here. He had color in his face in a hurry.
Quick pass outside for Fournette. Has a blocker, and Fournette trips ahead to the 20. He didn't even get the chain set before that play.
So tough, Chucky, for a defense when you feel like you got the guy. We see Howard there. He had him, had his arms around him, unable to get him down. Jenkins showing you that athleticism and keeping those eyes downfield with an incredibly accurate pass to Alex Perry.
Perry came over from Hawaii, spent 3 years there.
Illegal substitution. Defense had 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
This is just an incredible job from Nick Coleman, the offensive coordinator, keeping his foot on the gas there after the big play, getting him up to snap the football. Too many guys on the field for Western Kentucky.
3 grabs, 86 yards for Alex Perry. He is their leading receiver, but only 194 yards entering the night. 1st and 5 at the 21. And go back to the ground, and nothing doing. Jakeem Fletcher, who was all over it last week for Western Kentucky, makes his first stop of the night.
They have a lot of trust in Fletcher. Does a nice job on the inside there, the 5th-year senior. Now, Chucky, we've got Keyshawn Owens back in the game, number 5. He's to the right of Jenkins.
Play action pass to Owens, throwing short. He was looking for Payne. Incomplete. Malone was tracking him from behind. That is a late flag coming on.
There's the flag on the play.
Payne was acting as if he felt he was being grabbed on that route potentially, but we'll see what the call is. This is going to go against FIU. This is another big opportunity for the Panthers. to try and finish a drive in this first quarter.
An eligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
Left tackle Jaleel Davis, the transfer from NC State, called for that.
Let's take a look here at Payne. It's the end of this route. Felt like he was hailed maybe a little bit before that. Hard to see from that vantage point there. But this is the third trip for FIU down into the red zone. Gotten a couple of field goals. Desperate for a touchdown here. They really need to put some bigger points on the board.
2nd and 8. Jenkins rolling out. Incomplete pass, looking in the direction of Keyshawn Owens.
That's just an excellent job by the secondary there, Western Kentucky. Everyone was covered up there. Nowhere for Jenkins to go with the football down the field. One of the surprising things, Chucky, is not handing the football off to Keyshawn Owens more. We just haven't seen it a whole lot outside of that one big run that he had. He has 2 carries. They got to feature number 5.
3rd and 8. Handoff to Carey, who came in for Owens, and he charges forward to the 20-yard line, 4 yards shy of the first down marker. And another field goal opportunity, the tackle from Karan Hayward.
And if you're Willie Simmons here, you really got to be frustrated with your offense. Not being able to put up touchdowns in the red zone. We know how prolific the Hilltoppers are on offense and how they can put up points in a hurry, especially in the second half. For FIU, they need to try to stretch this lead a bit more. Still coming up with problems in the red zone.
Well, Grant's doubled his career makes total tonight, filling in for Saremcha. And they will not kick it before the end of the first quarter. Now we will start the second quarter with a field goal attempt. FIU has had some big opportunities on the road in Bowling Green. Have not capitalized yet, but they still lead this game after one. 6-3 over the Hilltoppers. 6-3 FIU over Western Kentucky as we get set for the second quarter here in Bowling Green on a Tuesday night. Some Conference USA football. And our first action of this second quarter will be a field goal attempt from Noah Grant. From about 37 yards. Hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. So Grant is having a night so far. Had one career make coming in, the redshirt senior from Eads, Tennessee. He is 3 for 3.
Makes me wish I had him in my fantasy league. Nice points from the kicker there. Well, he's done a terrific job. Now, Chucky, in the open, we talked about two dynamic quarterbacks, which both these teams have. So far, between the two of them, they have 164 yards passing. You see the numbers there, 90 for Jenkins, 74 for McIver with the one pick. No touchdowns, so both teams have really stalled in the red zone. So you got to give some credit to the defenses, too, in the secondary in those moments. But both QBs still trying to find their first touchdown here tonight. 309
combined yards in the first quarter and 4 field goals to show for it to this point. We're on pace for almost 1,250 total yards and 12 field goals tonight. Fielded at the 1-yard line. Western Kentucky looking for a big play in the special teams. And angling far side, Cameron Flowers. And Flowers lowers the shoulder as he dives ahead to the 36-yard line. So a couple nice returns for each team.
Yeah, well, you'll see Wallace here, number 10. He's the guy who gets out of his lane on the outside for FIU. Created some space for Flowers to be able to pick up some big yards. And sometimes, Chucky, special teams can be the spark that an offense needs to get some life and get going.
McIver, play action, throwing quickly over the middle, and it is dropped. That was a dangerous spot, too. He's looking for Isaiah Myers a little bit behind him. That could have been picked off, though, after the tip.
I mean, for Myers, this could have been a touchdown had he held onto this football. There's no one behind him. He kept his eyes on the ball and used his hands. Just dropped it. It's a flat-out drop.
Victor Evans, the third beat. McIver looking the other direction. Quick close by Evans over there, but a grab nonetheless. Musa Berry has had a couple big games this year. 6 catches, 90 yards against Sam Houston. 3 catches, 110 against Toledo. Third down. McIver, clean pocket, throwing, incomplete. Mr. Clark off to a great start in the secondary for FIU tonight.
Showing you why they're so high on him, the 6', 185 redshirt sophomore. He already has a pick in this game, but watch him break on this football and get that left arm in to knock the football down. He is dynamic and incredibly athletic. Gifted defender.
He's one of the best punters in the country. Cole Maynard averages over 50 yards per punt. The only punter in the country that does so. Great hang time on this kick that is fair caught at the 11-yard line. Job done by Maynard to set up a long field for Kewan Jenkins and FIU.
So, Chucky, we talked a little bit about this towards the end of the first quarter for FIU offensively. Committing to running the football. There's one thing I want to see from them offensively right now is keeping this football on the ground. They've got the lead, they've got the momentum, and they have one of the best backs in the conference. You got to figure out how to lean on Owens and give him opportunities. Also make sure that you keep the Hilltoppers off the field on offense. They have an opportunity here to really stretch this lead, but also eat up some clock.
From a matchup perspective, that's where they have an advantage. FIU second in the conference in rush yards per game. Western Kentucky ranks 9th against the run defensively. They will go to Owens here, who breaks some tackles and has a nice run on first down for about 6 yards.
This is exactly what you want to do if you're FIU on offense. Keep it on the ground. See Owens with the run up the middle here. Nice job navigating traffic, keeping those legs churning. He's tough to bring down as well, in addition to the speed. Really a complete back.
210 pounds, can really run. He's already surpassed last year's season total that he led this team with. Handoff again to Owens, space outside, and cuts it back between the hashes. A big pickup on second down. They give it to him twice. They get 19 yards. And sets up 1st and 10.
Makes a ton of sense there. That time, number 9, Dominic Oliver, the defensive end, moved inside, left the outside open for Owens to be able to pick up the 1st down. The defensive ends, Chucky, you have to make sure that when you're going against a running back like Owens, that you protect the edge. If that ball gets up the field, you can live with that. You definitely don't want to allow it to get outside.
Owens already at 103 yards. They've got to snap the football. Play clock was at 1 when they did. Handoff to Owens, and this time gets about a half yard, maybe. Machiavelli Malatumo was one of the tacklers, along with the sophomore Harper Holloman.
Yeah, Holloman's a guy number 44. They really need more productivity out of him. He's a true pass rusher at 6'2", 255 pounds. He can impact the game. But he said it himself to the coaching staff that he's missed a few plays out there. They really need number 44 for Western Kentucky to step up on defense.
Anthony Carey is the back as they give Owens a break. Play action pass. Jenkins looking downfield as an open man, and caught by JoJo Stone, his 6th catch of the season. Had 3 last week, and another 1st down.
Chucky, I thought Jenkins was a little late in his progressions to get to Stone. You'll see him roll out to his left here, and Stone's is open now. You got to get rid of that football. Still a big time play and a big pickup. Just could have got a little more out of that one.
Jenkins under pressure by Harper Holloman on that throw. Still got it out to Perry, but Dylan Flowers closed quickly.
Second defensive ends, Chucky, Harper Holloman and Jaden Gray, number 44 and number 15. Going up against a quarterback like Jenkins, who's got a dual threat ability. They've got to be able to have a bigger impact on the defensive end positions for Western Kentucky defensively.
2nd and 10, FIU's own 49-yard line. Jenkins, quick throw outside. There's some space and a block from one of his fellow wide receivers. It was Eric Nelson blocking. Tyson Carter on the catch.
That's a good job from Nelson here, just trying to get some space for his teammate there. That's Carter, another one of those true freshmen at wide receiver that plays for the Panthers. Young guys getting some love.
Part due to Kyle McNeil missing out tonight. Redshirt freshman, one of the top 2 or 3 options for Kewan Jenkins. Handoff up the middle, Owens. They are going to get another 1st down on 3rd down. There is some late conversations between teams. Didn't necessarily look friendly. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. You ever have some of that with some DBs?
Just once or twice, you know. They could be talking about a meal or something.
Jenkins looking to an open man. He had Tyson Carter all alone, but too far out in front of the young wide receiver.
This is what we've seen from Jenkins at times, is rushing passes and rushing plays and not setting his feet. He's backing up a little bit there and doesn't really set his feet to deliver an accurate pass there. It's one of the areas of growth for him is consistency in the passing game. We've talked about how he has the vision to be able to throw guys open and see it. Some of the mistakes have really cost them this season.
They've converted on 2nd and 10 and 3rd and long on this drive. Jenkins play action, looking downfield. He was looking for Perry, who was covered, and now flips it short to Ross Fournay. They'll get 4 yards on the play to make it 3rd and manageable.
Now, Chucky, this is a time where I want to see Jenkins take over. When you have an opportunity like this and you're rolling out and no one's open, we talked about how athletic he is. He has got to be decisive, pull the football down and run, because he could have picked up a lot more than 4 yards on that play. A little bit of the decision-making right now in question for Jenkins.
2 for 5 on 3rd down. Owens is the back. Play action, Jenkins under pressure, gets away from two, flips it downfield, and Owens didn't see it. It was toward the sideline, so he would have to make a big adjustment. There's a flag on the far side of the field, about 5 yards downfield.
Well, the linebacker for Western Kentucky, Miller Malone, number 8, was the first guy to get there.
There is no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. Number 1, the quarterback was legally grounding the ball. 3rd down.
This is where missing Saremcha can hurt a little bit because they were
Correction, 4th down.
more comfortable with him from a little bit further away than maybe Noah Grant. So in a situation where you might kick a 52-yarder here or try it, they're going to go for it on 4th and 5.
I think it makes a ton of sense for them at this moment with how well they've been playing offensively, moving the football. And again, this time committed to the run, so they're picking up some good yardage there. We've yet to see them go at number 84, McGuire Anderson. He's in the slot towards the bottom of the screen in motion.
Kewan Jenkins has been big on 3rd down a couple times. Wheel route outside, a lot of contact, incomplete, flags everywhere. Dylan Flowers in coverage on Alex Perry, and this is likely going to move the chains. They have made a concerted effort to get their number 1 receiver, Alex Perry, the football tonight.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty. An automatic 1st down.
Chucky, honestly, I think this is a heads-up play by Flowers here because he was beat on this play. If he doesn't grab, this is a touchdown. You see him towards the end of that, just had to almost tackle Alex Perry there at the end of this. But that's a heads-up play. While it might not look great, and you hate to have an interference, but you'd rather an interference than a touchdown.
The 22nd time Western Kentucky's given up a 1st down by penalty. That is the most in the FBS. They go to the ground with Owens on 1st down and get a few. Well, this is what could decide the game. Can FIU start converting some of these drives into touchdowns?
Without a doubt, and then continuing to run the football. See them continuing to hand the football off to number 5. Been so impressed with him in between the tackles, though. Breaking tackles. He's hard to bring down.
Second and 7 in the red zone. Jenkins keeps it. A little bit of a pump fake there to Dallas Payne, the tight end, who is knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line to set up 1st and goal.
This is a nice job by Jenkins here, just keeping his eyes downfield, making sure that he can find his outlet. Dallas Payne. Now, Dallas is a guy at 6'4", 250. Really creates a matchup problems for a lot of defenders. He's going up against a smaller secondary guy. He can body him. They need more productivity out of 0.
Handoff just to the 8-yard line on 1st down. Western Kentucky does a nice job to bottle up the run. John Owens has had some big ones in this game.
You see, Adrian Cole that time came down from his safety position and made a big-time play. Defensively.
Redshirt freshman from St. Augustine, Florida, Devontae Lyons is in the backfield.
They like to use him as a wide receiver, so don't be surprised to see 20 en route.
They will fake the handoff, throwing end zone, caught, touchdown. Jackson Verdugo, his first touchdown grab of his career, the freshman from College Station, Texas.
Well, we were wondering when we'd get our first touchdown here. Verdugo does a nice job of getting on top of the route, snapping his foot into the ground and breaking. And Jenkins delivered an accurate pass for the first touchdown of the night.
Verdugo's dad, Kevin, was a quarterback at Colorado State in his playing days. The freshman on the board for the first time in his career. Noah Grant on to make it 16-3. And he does.
Well, this is a big-time series from FIU to extend this lead. But it all started with this pass interference call on Flowers. You see, he just grabs him there. Sets up the big touchdown play to Verdugo. And FIU stretching the lead, but Hilltoppers have offense on the way back.
Start your Week 7 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. They'll have the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. Hilltopper fans stunned at the moment. Just under 8 to play in the first half, trailing 16-3. We saw the red zone interception. Their last offensive drive was a 3-and-out that spanned just 44 seconds. Cameron Flowers already has one big return tonight, looking for another one, and not going to get it out to the 26-yard line. But Western Kentucky offensively has got to find something, some sort of rhythm for Maverick McIver and company. When we come back, Hilltoppers down 13.
Welcome back. We got a 16-3 game midway through the second quarter here. We've talked at the top about two quarterbacks that have really been prolific. The story has been the red zone. For McIver here, this was their first trip. Interception from Mr. Clark there. And then we just saw this before the break. The touchdown pass to Vertigo into the end zone. Big time play from Jenkins there. Our first touchdown of the night.
FIU has sustained drives for the most part. They just haven't been able to finish them. We saw that on the last drive. Kewan Jenkins, dangerous at all times, certainly when he is playing with confidence, which he is to this point. 135 yards passing for Jenkins. Just the 80 for McIver and the big interception. They went 3 and out on their last drive, so now it's about rhythm for Western Kentucky. Can they find some and answer back after that touchdown drive from the Panthers? McIver, play action pass, stepping up and going to take off and run. There's a flag in the backfield as he dives ahead to the 35-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
We got the right guard there, Quincy Jenkins, on the hold. And that's really tough for Western Kentucky because you mentioned the momentum and the need to be able to grab it. You can't hurt yourself in this situation with grabbing guys. Really needing to find some life for Western Kentucky here offensively. Somebody has to step up to make a play.
Only ran the football 6 times, but they've done so for 52 yards, averaging 8.5 a carry, throwing this little tunnel screen over the middle to K.D. Hutchinson. He was off balance the whole time, though. They only get about 6 back. Percy Courtney Jr. in on the stop, helping fill in for the injured Dwight Nunu.
One of the things that worked well in the first quarter for Western Kentucky was stretching the field in the passing game.
Hutchinson in motion. They're going to throw it to him. Trying to get the speedster in space. Nowhere to go. Bodies everywhere wearing white. Josiah McGrew along with Mr. Clark.
Just haven't seen these work for Western Kentucky where they're trying to get some space on the outside, going east and west instead of north and south with the play call. Where they had success was when they were targeting wide receivers down the field in that first quarter. With post routes and in-breaking routes, they're going to have to get back to that on offense.
McIver rolling out, has all the time in the world, but he's running out of space. Now throwing downfield, tipped up, picked off! An immediate tackle by Hutchinson. It's Josiah McGrew, the freshman from Tallahassee, on the interception.
Well, we talked about 2 guys that are playing lights out for FIU defensively. The first is number 27, Mr. Clark. Look who tips this football. That's Mr. Clark up in the air. McGrew with the pick. FIU's continuing to roll.
Immediate timeout.
FIU's defense stepping up big. A couple takeaways. Mr. Clark and Josiah McGrew with the interceptions. They lead 16-3. It's a 9th-ranked defense in scoring in Conference USA.
They are playing really lights out here. This is a uncharacteristic error from MacGyver here, rolling to his right. This is a moment where you throw this football away. Instead, he tries to force this down the field. Mr. Clark is the first to get his hands on it, and then McGrew with the pick. But just something we're not used to seeing from MacGyver, forcing the football and having poor decision-making in high-pressure moments.
FIU has lost 2 straight games trying to get right on the road against one of Conference USA's best. They give it to Owens, who bounces it back across field and dives ahead. There is a flag on the play after a pickup of about 7 yards.
Chucky, I can't stress just how strong of a runner Keyshawn Owens is. We'll see what the call is here. They're pointing to the Hilltopper side.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 34, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, an automatic first down.
They got Juwan Howard there, number 34, at the end of this play, but watch this strength to be able to be hit by a big guy and just bounce off. The balance there is incredible, and then at the end of the play here, got that face mask there from Hayward. But that's doing a lot of legs, Chucky, in the weight room, a lot of squats, stuff coming into play.
Jenkins, plenty of time to throw. Little pump fake, then gets it out to Owens, who dives ahead toward the 15-yard line. You come into this game, Western Kentucky on a win streak. They're 3-0 in Conference USA. They could be the first team to reach bowl eligibility and really set themselves up in prime position to run with this conference. How much pressure is there right now? As this game goes on and the offense struggles, how much does that pressure build?
It's definitely going to build for them. The saving grace for them is that they're used to being in this position this season. Slow starts and then opening it up in the second half, but you can't win these conference games if that's how you play. So they're in a hole here. They're in a real hole.
2nd and 8. Jenkins keeps it out quickly to Verdugo. Continues to be a focal point for the offense. They don't get much, though, and it sets up 3rd down with 5 minutes to play in the first half.
This is the recipe of success for Western Kentucky defensively. Had their defensive end, Dominique Oliver, grabbed Owens after the play fake there, taking care of his responsibilities. That's really been the story defensively, where they've had some issues. Guys trying to overplay and take care of someone else's position. If you stick to your position, the team can have success defensively.
Their number 1 receiver, Alex Perry, alone at the bottom of your screen. Jenkins trying to take off himself using the legs. Flag down in the backfield as Jenkins takes a big hit at the end of that play at the 4-yard line. He was crunched and he's hurt. This is the last thing FIU wants to see.
Holding, offense, number 59, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
And the tough part for Buchanan, the left guard who holds.
Timeout for an injury.
And they're going to check on Jenkins. But watch Buchanan here, 59. There's just no need to grab the defender. So this is one of those moments where the redshirt sophomore, still a young player, see him grab the jersey there. Jenkins would have been able to get outside anyway. This is a classic case here of where maybe Jenkins should have gone out of bounds to help give himself away. Gets crunched in between 2 different defenders there.
You could hear that hit up in the press box. He has been excellent tonight, a 3-year starter. How often do you say that in college football? Not just a 3-year starter at quarterback as a junior, but also a guy who's been at the same place for 3 years.
Uncommon for sure. That's one of the things that Willie Simmons talked about. He and Nick Cole, the offensive coordinator, talked about getting to a new program and not having to find a quarterback. It's rare, it's uncommon. Most of the times when new staff come in, they've got to figure out who's going to be the signal caller. So that was a luxury for Willie Simmons and company to be able to inherit Keon Jenkins. You hate to see a guy down and injured just trying to play football there.
He knew right away, too, kind of pushed the helmet off and has been on the ground ever since. This is one to keep a very close eye on as this game proceeds late in the first half.
Really a tough place for any offense to be with the productivity of Jenkins here. We'll take one more look at this. It's a big time play. Elin Jones there, the defensive end, number 50.
Good to see Jenkins up and walking off under his own power. So we'll keep an eye on number 1 on the sideline as they try to close out this drive with points. This is Joe Pizanski, who actually entered last week late in the third quarter when Jenkins was struggling at UConn, played the remainder of that game. This is what he's done on the season so far in somewhat limited action through both of those interceptions last week. He was 7 for 12 with 100 yards and 2 picks and enters on 3rd and 18.
Tough place for any backup quarterback to be thrust into the game. Saving grace for Pizanski, though, is he's a 5th-year senior, so he's an experienced guy.
Carry the back. Pizanski gets out of the pocket. This is going to be another flag against this offensive line as Pizanski takes off, and he has the first down, but it's going to come back for a penalty.
I'm not sure what's happening on this offensive line.
Offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
This series, they got Daniel Michelle here, number 55, the right tackle. He'll be to the right of the screen here. Watch him. He's just going to hug the guy and throw him down, jump on top of him. Just unnecessary penalties from this offensive line right now. And you got quarterbacks trying to make plays with their legs and extend the play. The offensive line just hurting them.
What a play by Pizanski on his opening play in the game, but now 3rd and forever. The line to gain is the 7. They're at the 34-yard line. This is a blown play. Pizanski takes off and dives forward. There's a miscommunication with his running back, Anthony Carey. And now decision time here as far as do they want to go for the long field goal or punt this away.
You see the miscue there. Pizanski and Carey. He thought he was going to be able to hand the football off. But you have to remember, he just got thrown into this game after the injury to Jenkins. So he's coming in cold.
For Noah Grant, who was 1 for 2 on the season. He is 3 for 3 tonight. A 51-yarder would be a career high for Grant. The kick is up. It has the distance. It is good. Noah Grant is having a night for FIU. And there's nothing better than a kicker celebration.
You gotta love it here. What an incredible job he has done after getting thrown into the action here. The 5th-year senior. Wow, he's playing lights out right now. And I have to tell you, Chucky, that when your kicker's playing well, it's a position that, let's be honest, doesn't get as much love as maybe it probably should. But when the kicker's playing well, it just excites everyone on the sideline. Everyone gets a little bit more pep in them steps. You just get excited and you can feed off of that excitement. What a day from Grant so far.
Now the big question for FIU is the status of Kewan Jenkins. Will it be Pizanski who has to try and lead this offense moving forward, or will we potentially see Jenkins keep an eye on him on the sideline? 19-3 with 2:57 to play in the first half. Toward the corner for Flowers to handle just inside the 5-yard line. Jukes around. One! Oh, man, what a hit! Websley Etienne, one of the defensive backs, with a crushing blow on Flowers.
And Chucky, he did not slow down at all. Watch 12 come in here, full speed, textbook tackle from Etienne. Delivered quite the blow there to Flowers. Listen to the sound of this. Even the crowd was in on that one. Wow, big time play on special teams.
1st and 10 from the 16 for Maverick McIver and Western Kentucky. Nowhere to go on 1st down. Hit immediately in the backfield. Josiah Taylor, their leading tackler, the sophomore linebacker.
Now, Chucky, doesn't it feel like FIU has a little bit more energy as we look at the offensive numbers tonight versus the season for Western Kentucky? Uncharacteristic for them. But Chucky, right now, it just feels like, as Burrows makes the catch there, it just feels like FIU has got way more energy. And I have to go back to the kicker. When the kicker makes his plays and is excited, it's infectious.
Western Kentucky, an offense, obviously, that likes to go quickly. The problem is, you don't start converting a little bit, you could give FIU the ball back with plenty of time as we approach the 2-minute timeout. The Hilltoppers will snap it one more time. Pressure, a little shovel pass, and it's eaten up. It looked good from the start, but Johnny Chaney saw it.
He's just a heads-up play from him. Talked about how he pops on film number 0, but what a terrific job here of not being fooled by the action. 0 in the middle of this defense. FIU is just continuing to ball out. They're up 19-3.
Well, it's a 4th and 1 when we come back, but this is the biggest story right now. Kewan Jenkins, who was knocked out of this game with an injury on the last possession for FIU. He's off to a great start tonight, was warming up on the sideline, walking around. He was looking at the tablet a little bit and looks like he might be poised to re-enter this game.
That's certainly positive news for FIU, getting their signal caller back.
Maynard on to boot this away. Not the biggest we've seen from one of the best in the country, but he does get a nice bounce that's going to roll all the way down inside the 25, where FIU will get the football with plenty of time and 3 timeouts.
Well, now, what's interesting here, Chucky, it looks like Pazanski might still be the guy at 16. We'll see who comes out at quarterback.
To start your weekend in Coral Gables, game 1 of our ESPN Friday night college football doubleheader. 7 Eastern, Carson Beck and number 2 Miami taking on Miller Moss, and 4-1 Louisville in a big ACC conference matchup. You can also watch it on the all-new ESPN app. It is Pazanski at quarterback. 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line. Pazanski on the handoff. And a fight for just about 3 or 4 yards on that first down carry from Devontae Lyons, tackled by Fletcher.
Chucky, the question always when your second-string quarterback comes in is how does the offense change? Well, Pazanski, not as elusive as a runner, more of a pocket passer.
Pazanski going to try to run it on this one and nowhere to go. Hit in the backfield. He falls forward. Dominic Oliver, the defensive end, gets to him to set up 3rd down, and we're going to have a timeout on the field.
Western Kentucky calls their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds. Please set the game clock to 1 minute, 9 seconds. 1:09 on the game clock, please.
Now, sometimes, Chucky, for offensive coordinator Nick Coleman here, for FIU, sometimes there's a tendency to want to continue to call the game the same way you did. When you have a change at quarterback and that position's so vital, the goal really is to play to a guy's strength. I'm not exactly sure that that's what the right play call for Pazanski in this moment. They are high on him. He's an Ivy League guy. He was at Holy Cross a year ago. He's a 5th-year senior. They told us without a doubt he will likely be a future coach in this league. He's that smart, but you got to put him in positions to be successful the rest of the way.
Had some big drives in this first half. They've thrown the ball downfield with Kewan Jenkins. We'll see what they do here on 3rd and 7. Do they just hand this ball off and let the clock run, or do they try to convert and keep the drive alive? They will throw the football. Pazanski throwing across the middle to his tight end, Payne. Stiff arm, and Payne is across the 35. He's got a 1st down and a great play from Dallas Payne, the UAB transfer.
What an incredible job for Pazanski here to just hang in there. He didn't get rattled, didn't get flustered, didn't try to force anything. He just allowed the play to happen. You see there's no color in his face, so no real reason to get antsy with the football. That's a mature play from the quarterback.
1 minute and 2 seconds left in the first half. Still 3 timeouts for the Panthers. Pazanski under pressure, throwing the deep ball into double coverage, but he overthrows it, and probably a good thing as Ross Fournay had a couple bodies back there. Ali and Jalen Lewis in coverage.
He was double covered in the back of that defense there. It's a nice job, though, by Lyons. Number 20, the redshirt freshman, and blocking on the edge. Try to give Pazanski a bit more time. And the guy who's been making a lot of noise for FIU offensively at the receiver position is Alex Perry, number 4. He's got 86 yards. He's at the bottom of the screen.
2nd and 10. Pazanski flushed out of the pocket, trying to use his legs this time, and hit just beyond the line of scrimmage. 2 flags in the backfield, likely moving backwards.
We're going to get Michelle again here, number 55, the right tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
So watch for Michelle here. He's winning this battle. The problem is at the end of this play. So he's good with his hands. Nice job. There's just no reason to take the guy down. There's no reason to do that. You can just let him go, understanding the situation and where your quarterback is. So he's blocking well. It's just the end of these plays where he's hurting himself and this offense.
3rd holding penalty on the last couple drives for FIU. Pazanski throwing a little tunnel screen to McGuire Anderson. First catch in 2 weeks, and Anderson tripped up at the 35, a yard shy of the original line of scrimmage. Tackled by Flowers.
Defensive pass completion number 84, McGuire Anderson.
FIU calls their first time out of the half. 30 seconds.
And I like the call here from Willie Simmons and company to try to slow this game down a little bit. Make sure they have the right play on this important third down. It's vital that they keep the football out of Western Kentucky's hands on offense to close out this second quarter. But I've been impressed so far with Joe Pizanski. Hadn't been asked to do a whole lot yet. Just his first series after a couple of plays on the last one. He's been pretty poised, taking what the defense has given him so far.
We've just been told Kewan Jenkins is questionable to return to this game. His back, kind of ribs type of injury he's dealing with. He's on the sideline, still very involved in what's going on. We'll see, though, if we will get a glimpse of him in the second half. It's 3rd and 11 at FIU's 35-yard line. Payne in motion. That's who Pizanski hit on their last third down conversion. Pizanski over the middle. High throw, almost picked off. It fell right to Dave Harrod. That could have absolutely changed the complexion of this game if he could have caught that off the tip from Perry.
Without a doubt. Oh, Harrod, what a missed opportunity here, but a little bit of a high throw from Pizanski here. But that's one that Alex Perry has got to come down with. Anytime the wide receiver can get two hands on the football, even if it's after a jump, you're expected to come down with it. One of those moments where you try to help your second-string quarterback build a little bit of confidence by catching that football, but they're lucky that wasn't a turnover.
Trey Wilhoit sends this one toward Hutchinson, who fair catches it near the 31-yard line with 29 seconds left in the first half.
What a missed opportunity here. Western Kentucky, see them like, come on. These are those moments where, you know, sometimes you'll see the defenders have to do push-ups because they missed the pass. Where are the hands at, big man? Where are the hands at?
Maverick McIver with 29 seconds and no timeouts. Empty backfield. Now Hart goes there with McIver. Plenty of time, throwing underneath behind Henry and incomplete on first down. It just doesn't quite look like the Hilltopper offense we're used to seeing.
Now they're just out of rhythm. They really are out of rhythm, especially when you're a star. Matthew Henry, a guy who's been so sure-handed, drops an easy pass. But what that tells you, Chucky, is that they need someone to really step up and to be a spark. Who is that guy going to be? There's a lot of football left. They're still in this game.
They're going to hand it off this time to Hart, who has a nice gain up to the 44-yard line. The clock will stop momentarily at 20 seconds as Western Kentucky gets to the line to spike it.
Like George Hart III, in that North Alabama game earlier this season, he had a TD run. One of those guys in this healthy backfield for Western Kentucky.
Looking for the 35-yard line for a potential field goal attempt, but just 18 seconds and no timeouts. McIver rolling out, gonna throw it downfield across his body, and it is incomplete. Pretty nice catch over there by George Hart, the running back, but out of bounds.
He did a nice job of catching it at the end, but it's just the throw. He's wide open in the back of this defense. It's uncatchable. Again, for Maverick McGuire, he's just been such a surefire quarterback with his decision-making and his accuracy. He has struggled in this second quarter.
.12 seconds left in the first half. Western Kentucky averages over 33 points per game, sitting with 3 as this half gets close to a close. But now down to the 37-yard line and quickly trying to get this ball spiked, and maybe they will go for a long field goal. McIver under center, and spikes it with 3 seconds on the clock, and out comes the field goal unit. And we'll see who it is. Their long kicker is Jack Cassidy, who is their field goal, or is their kickoff specialist. John Cannon is their regular kicker. It's going to be Cassidy who's got the big leg. And it's going to be from 55 yards away. They said they would go as far as 62 with Cassidy.
Chucky, you have to remember, they get the ball coming out at halftime. This would be huge for momentum.
From the right hash. Snap is there, hold is down, kick is up, plenty of leg. That is mashed by Cassidy. Some much needed momentum for Western Kentucky.
Wow, the strength of the leg on that kick. Wow, unreal distance on that. Unreal distance.
Jack Cassidy, a redshirt junior. Look out, you might see him on Sundays with this kind of leg strength. That would have been good from 65. Halftime in Bowling Green. Western Kentucky trails by 13. welcome you back to Conference USA action here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. FIU on the road over Western Kentucky 19-6 here at the break. I'm Chucky Kemp alongside Darius Walker. FIU really controlled that, both sides of the ball. One of the big questions will be Kewan Jenkinson's status, but overall the Panthers handled Western Kentucky in the first half.
Yeah, I will say they did a lot of the stuff that we thought that they might do in terms of controlling the ball and allowing Jenkins to do what he does best, particularly as a thrower. Excellent job here on the first series of throwing it to Perry and then extending plays, making sure that the offense continues. He keeps his eyes downfield and hits Perry. Again, he's done a terrific job of doing it. And then this was the touchdown, the vertigo, into the end zone to his tight end. An excellent job, but here was the issue. He tried to make a play with his legs to try to extend it and goes down. You see him grab the rib area there, sticks out. Let's switch to the other side for McElvore. This is a guy who leads the conference in all passing categories. Interceptions is not one of those, but this was his first pick to Mr. Clark, and then a bad decision here to try to force that football after rolling to his right. And McGrew, interception. 2 interceptions for McIver there.
We just got word as we came on for the second half. Kewan Jenkins is cleared for the second half, so expect to see number 1 calling the shots for FIU, trying to close out a big opportunity on the road for a team in FIU who has lost 2 straight entering this game, but just their second conference tilt of the season. So a lot of football left to be played for the Panthers, and meaningful football, as this is going to be fair caught by Flowers to set up Western Kentucky's first offensive drive of the second half, trying to build off what was a massive 55-yard make by Jack Cassidy at the end of the first half. FIU has never trailed in this game. One of the big stories for the Panthers, the kicking game. Saremcha, their starting kicker, pulled a groin in warmups. Noah Grant is 4 for 4 tonight, and he's hit a 51-yarder.
Yeah, the kicking game and special teams really being on point here today for both sides.
McIver hands it off to Parrish, who bounces it outside. And Parrish has a nice pickup on first down. Did not see a ton of the Western Kentucky running game in that first half, but they averaged 8 yards a carry when they did run it.
That's one of the things they're going to have to do, is to establish this running game, to open things up a little bit in the passing game for McIver. Parrish is a guy they lean on in between the tackles, too. They need to feature some tailbacks in the second half.
2nd and 5, throwing the ball. They do have a first down to the top target, Matthew Henry, who charges forward across the 40, tackled by Mr. Clark. Better start for the Hilltoppers here in the second half.
Again, predicated on being able to run the football. When you can run, it opens up everything else offensively.
Again, trying to bounce it outside. Parrish diving forward. He's going to get 2 yards on first down. Is it tough for an old running back to hear only 8 carries in the first half, averaging 8 yards per carry?
I think a tier or 2 might come out of, running back's eyes there. Wanting a little bit more love, for sure.
I feel like you'd have spoken up on the Notre Dame sideline if you were averaging 8 a carry. And
tap Charlie Weiss on the shoulder there. Hey, coach, forget about it.
Noah Myers in motion, the tight end. They're going to go into the flats to Parrish, who somehow stays in bounds. Incredible balance by Marvis Parrish, the true freshman running back. It's something about those Georgia running backs.
And I tell you, that was just an incredible job, though, by him. Johnny Chaney, number 0, had him dead to rights there. Unable to wrap up there. A little bit of a technique problem for Chaney. He's usually he's usually a sure tackler, but nice job by Parrish there. Picking up some positive yardage to set up a 3rd and manageable.
Parrish out of Valdosta, Georgia, making a huge impact as a true freshman in this offense. He'll take a break. K.D. Hutchinson in motion, going that direction, but beyond the reach of Hutchinson on 3rd and 3 near midfield, and the first decision of the second half coming here for the Hilltoppers as they send the punt unit on.
That's a tough one for McIver there, because they were building a little bit of something there with the running game, then sprinkling in some passes. He had Hutchinson there, just another missed throw from Maverick McIver. Really frustrating for an offense that's been productive from a yards perspective, just unable to get consistency.
Old Maynard, high spiraling kick is into the end zone for a touchback. Kewan Jenkins ready to go in the second half after an injury late in the second quarter.
This was it. This was the play. Just trying to get some more yardage out of the situation. You love to see a quarterback just give his body up, really fighting for his brothers and teammates out there as you look at his first half numbers. He's been outstanding.
He missed their final drive. He had to come out of that game after that big run. They ended up just getting 3 on the drive. Kejon Owens had a big first half. 9 carries, 120 yards, had an 84-yarder earlier in the game. Spins around and gets just shy of 5 yards on first down.
Gain of 5 on the play, second down and 5.
Nice job by Owens, continuing to pick up big yardage on first down. When you get 4 or 5 yards on first down, it sets up everything for the passing game here on second down.
Second and 5. Handoff Owens, plenty of space here, cuts it back across field. Kejon Owens upended by Harrod after a big pickup on second down.
Chucky, he's just so fast with the football in his hands. He's going to take this from Jenkins and just get upfield so quickly. Nice job by the center there, Pierce, of walling off his guy. But he just pops out and up. Look how fast this guy is. In an instant, he gets to full speed. That's some serious athleticism there from Kejon Owens.
Gonna throw it out quickly for Fournette. Almost tripped up, but breaks through the diving attempt from Flowers to get 4 yards. Willie Simmons has had some good running backs in his time as a running backs coach. One of them was C.J. Spiller, and you know what he did in college at Clemson and then in the NFL. But Willie Simmons said, Kejon Owens, when he is on, is right there with some of the best he's had.
He really gave him some confidence and said that this guy is one of the best that he's ever coached. And Simmons was the running back coach at Duke last year. They have some good running backs at Duke as well, so he's seen the best of the best. Quite the compliment for Owens.
This is the 36th career game for Owens at FIU. Oh my goodness, lowers the boom on Malone at the end of that run for a first down.
He is not afraid of contact either. Jackson Vertigo that time, number 88, the tight end, had a tremendous block on the inside. Watch him push this defensive line all the way down. That's where Owens makes the cut.
Jenkins in trouble and just throws it away. Now a question here, the crowd and the Western Kentucky sideline asking for intentional grounding. They're going to say no, they were pointing to Jackson Verdugo that he was in the area.
Looked like Verdugo might have been close. Kawan Hayward, number 34, the defensive end, was the one who put the pressure on Jenkins. Take another look at this. Watch 34 come in to frame here and almost get his arm on Jenkins. They might have got away with one there.
Jenkins on the keep, slides down to avoid the big hit. He will get about a yard on second down to set up 3rd and 9.
Let's see here. There you go. Coach knows they might have gotten away with one there.
Western Kentucky has played in close games, especially recently. Beat Missouri State by 5, beat Delaware in thrilling fashion by 3. 3rd and 8, they're going to hand it off here and go nowhere. Miller Malone made the stop to bring up 4th down.
This is what's going to happen for Western Kentucky defensively. These linebackers, Miller Malone, Anthony Brackenridge, they're going to have to be able to come up and make plays on a dynamic running back. They're going to have their hands full the rest of the half, but a nice job getting off the field for Western Kentucky.
Trey Wilhoit on to boot this one away with K.D. Hutchinson deep to return.
Hutchinson deep for WKU.
Wilhoit taking his time. Sends this away where it is fair caught at the 12-yard line by Hutchinson. Well, 2 empty drives to start the second half. 9:30 to play in the third quarter. FIU by 13. Much different than what we expect from this Western Kentucky offense, not just this year, but over the past 5 seasons. They average over 33 points per game, just 6 tonight, and they have been out of rhythm in a big way. And a lot of credit goes to the 4th-year defensive coordinator, Javon DeWitt, who is one of the lone holdovers from the previous staff, but said Willie Simmons came in, they had a conversation, really hit it off. DeWitt, who was a physics and mathematics major at Northern Michigan, turned down a job at NASA after graduation, ends up getting into coaching, and he was named the interim when they made the move, so he kind of tried to hold the program together while they got Willie Simmons in, and what a job he's done against one of the best offenses in the country tonight. McIver throwing out wide and right on cue. They eat it up. Victor Evans III saw it the whole way.
What an incredible job from Evans to come up and to make a play on Flowers. Watch 4 come into frame here quickly and instinctively. Nice job. No hesitation. Able to get him down for the loss.
2nd and 12. Awkward snap here. I think there's a free play. McIver throwing downfield, incomplete. He was testing Evans again, which has not been the right answer so far.
Offside. Defense, number 25, was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Keegan Simmons there. Looked like they also had Keegan Davis, number 44, as well. The other defensive end who was offsides as well. See both of them on the edge of the defense there.
2nd and 7. Handoff up the middle, and cutting it back across field is Parrish. And oh man, a physical finish to the run, going through one of the defensive backs.
Yeah, Chucky, I know we've been talking a lot about Owens, but Paris says, don't forget about me. Keaton Simmons this time, the defensive end, gave up the exterior part. Look at the finish here. Again, Chucky, this is a true freshman. I was playing high school football a year ago. Wow.
Shamir Sterling was on the wrong end of that run. 1st and 10. McIver steps up. Pressure coming from the backside. Just gets away the pass. Incomplete. Jermaine Carter pressuring McIver from the far side of the field.
One of the things I want to see from McIver here in the second half is on those plays, throw the football away. That ball should be going towards the sideline. We saw him get in trouble in the first half with 2 interceptions because he was trying to throw across the middle of the field. When a play breaks down, a little bit better with the decision making and just throw the football away. Live to fight another day.
2nd and 10. Parrish in motion back into the backfield with McIver. Plenty of time, just a 3-man rush, throwing into serious coverage. Mr. Clark breaking on the play. FIU has just had the Hilltoppers figured out tonight. It helps when your defensive coordinator is borderline genius. His wife says he is the dumbest smart guy she knows. These are a couple books he reads a couple times a year before fall and spring camp. She says that because of the NASA opportunity getting turned down. McIver takes off, hit hard at the end of that run, is going to come up short of a first down. He was also a mortgage broker out in California, so he was making a ton of money when he got out of college with his brother. Said he hated it, so he had a former coach call him up, said, hey, I got a few $100 for you, come be a GA, and the rest is history.
Doesn't it kind of sound like the smart guy thing, a smart guy thing where you say, you know what, I was making a ton of money, but I hated it. I'm going to do something else. He's done an incredible job on defense, but he certainly is an intelligent and intellectual coach. I love how they pass that on to the student athletes.
He said his wife especially says that after a loss. Hoping he doesn't have to hear that type of comment tonight as FIU takes over after another defensive stop. 7:35 to play in the 3rd quarter. FIU up 19-6 in the 3rd quarter, and the Panthers getting the football back, looking for their first conference win of the season and to pull even at 500 with a 3-3 record. Kewan Jenkins getting some of the big plays back tonight. Coming into this game, averaged just under 9 yards per completion, almost at 12 yards per completion. A little bit more on par with what we saw in his first 2 seasons. Part of that, Darius, they lost 5 of their top 6 pass catchers. Eric Rivers, a guy who went for 1,100 yards last year, and Dean Patterson, both at Georgia Tech now. 1st and 10, they go to the ground for Owens, who doesn't get much, but maybe finding some of those big play guys tonight.
The other impressive piece about it is just he's spreading the football around. He's got 8 different guys who have caught passes here today. So that's the sign of a quarterback going through his progression, not forcing things. He's really been lights out and terrific with his decision-making today, in addition to that athleticism. This is what they expected to see from him early in the season. It's great that he's coming on at this stage.
It's interesting, they've done it against Western Kentucky, whose pass defense the last number of years has been really good. Quick throw from Jenkins out to Anderson. Anderson makes it 3rd and 4.
There's a heck of a job there by Coron Hayward, number 34, the defensive end. He gets just enough of Anderson to push him down. If he doesn't, Anderson had a lot of green grass in front of him.
Coron Hayward had the go-ahead pick 6 last week for Western Kentucky. Anthony Carey is the back with Kewan Jenkins. We've seen him convert on some big 3rd downs today. We'll see if he can do it again. Jenkins keeps it. They get it out into the flats to a wide-open Dallas Payne, who stumbles down and is frustrated with himself, but they get the 1st down.
Well, Payne is a big guy at 6'4", 250 pounds. He came in motion all the way, so you're asking the big guy to be in condition there. As he catches that flat route, was able to pick up the 1st down.
Physical tackle by Harper Holloman in the backfield. Just shy of the original line of scrimmage. Holloman, a talented sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia.
They really need him defensively to be more of a difference maker.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
Second and 10. Haven't seen Alex Perry, FIU's top receiver, in a while. 3 catches, 86 yards. He was targeted on the first 3 plays of the game. Jenkins handing off up the middle, and Carey shooting through the hole onto the WKU logo at midfield for another 1st down.
This is what has worked really well for FIU. These creases in the interior defense. Nice job of getting up the field, but you see the big block from Julius Pierce there, the center.
Flag on the play as FIU went quickly.
Prior to snap, false start. Offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's Ross Fournay who jumped too early, but before that.
And look at this block from 65 there in that interior. Julius Pierce, whenever your center can just push a guy 4 or 5 yards in the other direction, just makes life so easy for the running back. That's one of those where if it were me, I'd owe him a pizza after the game. You know, like again, back in the non-NIL time, all I could do was get him, you know, maybe some Domino's or something, hook him up. Times are a little bit different now for these student athletes.
You were a couple decades too earlier. You'd be really in a great spot right now.
That's right.
1st and 15 for FIU after another penalty. We saw that kind of get to him at the end of the 1st half. Some holding penalties. This one, a false start that moves them back on what looks to be a promising drive with under 5 to play in the 3rd. Jenkins handing off again, and a lot of space on the near side. And these running backs are bringing it tonight. That's Anthony Carey with some words at the end of that for Dylan Flowers.
These backs have really come to play for FIU. Jalen Davis, number 78, the left tackle, makes a big hole inside of him by pushing the defensive end out. And then the finish on the run from Carey there.
26 carries, over 7 yards per carry for FIU tonight. Nice little check down here from Jenkins to JoJo Stone. And they are rolling on offense.
And look at the end of this run, just the physicality from the back there. 6 foot, 200 pounds. He came to play. Now, I will say, sometimes you just understand who you're going against. That was Dylan Flowers. He's the cornerback. He's not doing it against a backer or a defensive end, but still impressive nonetheless.
You're not lowering the shoulder at a big linebacker?
Not that close to being out of bounds. No, thank you.
Hand off to Carey again, and can't quite get going this time. Western Kentucky all over it on their front with Anthony Brackenridge, senior from Jacksonville, Florida, in on the tackle.
One of the things we haven't seen this second half from FIU offensively is giving Jenkins the opportunity as a runner. A QB design draw, QB run. We haven't seen much of that since he got injured in the first half. So they might be trying to taper what they're asking their electric quarterback to do.
2nd and 9. Handoff Owens. And Owens carrying bodies close to a first down at the 15.
I mean, I'm telling you, Chucky, Julius Pierce, the center, number 65, is having a heck of a day right now at center. He is just moving guys. Look at 65 in there. This guy is 4 or 5 yards back. This is a running play downhill. And his guy, the defensive tackle, is 4 or 5 yards back, just backpedaling. He's having a monster day right now at center. And Julius Pierce. Give the big guy his flowers.
This drive approaching 5 minutes. It's a plus 10-minute advantage in time of possession. Little trickery here, looking for Jenkins, who lays out. He was wide open, but JoJo Stone could not quite hit him.
Oh, you got to give Harper Holloman, number 44, the defensive end, so much credit here. His presence was enough to make it an errant throw because Jenkins was wide open near the corner of the pylon. Incredible job by 44, just a heads-up play using his presence to force a bad pass.
It almost looked like Jenkins kind of stopped the route, and JoJo Stone was like, man, I'm going to hit you in stride, man. 10 plays, 60 yards on this drive, and 5:08 off the clock. 2nd and 10. Handoff. Owens cuts it back and up and to the 5-yard line. Or just shy of it, and this might be a 3rd and short.
Chucky, these running backs, again, just a tremendous job of cutting here. Dallas Payne, the tight end, was on the right side.
Owens trying to get outside. Owens to the pylon. Touchdown. Keyshawn Owens, the conference's leader in rushing touchdowns, adds his 6th of the season.
And Chucky, he's just seeing the field differently now. Kayron Hayward, the defensive end, didn't give up outside leverage, but because of how fast Owens was, he got outside of him anyway. And then is able to get up to the 2nd level and put that football across the line. The commitment and the physicality today from FIU. As you see the season numbers for Owens, he's a touchdown machine. Got to give a lot of credit to his offensive line right now. They came to play.
They're going to go for 2 to try to make this a 21-point game. Owens is the back. Jenkins rolling out, throwing, and incomplete, hesitated just a little bit. He's looking for Dylan Herman, a sophomore wide receiver, and the score will stay put at 25-6.
This has been fantastic to watch Owens ball. These running backs are on fire for FIU. They've been outstanding. 25-6. This was the missed conversion to close things out. The Hilltoppers desperately need some offense on the other side.
25-6, Keyshawn Owens fired up on the FIU sideline for a team who's lost 2 straight and did so in somewhat extraordinary fashion at UConn a week ago. Lost 51-10, but they are back in conference play, and they feel like they still have a lot to play for this season. They are showing that tonight as Western Kentucky will get the football. Coming up this Saturday, it's the SEC on ABC. A couple great matchups. 5th-ranked Ole Miss and 9th-ranked Georgia at 3:30 Eastern. The Rebels looking to knock off the Bulldogs in back-to-back seasons. We'll cap the day with the 108th meeting between Tennessee and Alabama. Vols trying to win their first in Tuscaloosa since 2003. Every game also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC All Day presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. They go to Parrish on the first play of the drive, who gets across the 30 for an 11-yard pickup on first down.
Well, Todrick Bruton, number 33, the defensive end for FIU. He gave up the edge. He got lost. Set up a big play for the Hilltoppers.
Western Kentucky has just 2 field goals to their name. Their opening drive of this game ended in a red zone interception. And since that point, we have not really seen them in rhythm, because we saw the Hilltopper offense on that opening drive. They just didn't finish it.
Well, with the edge of this defense right now for FIU, if they can't get things in order on the edge, that's going to be an area where the Hilltoppers can get back in it and exploit.
Myers in motion. They hand it off again to Parrish. Something we've kind of been talking about all night is how effective Western Kentucky has ran the football, but time is not on your side at this point. Still a quarter to play. Now they're going to the run pretty heavily.
This is what they should have done early in the quarter here in the second half, is just committing to the running game, because they've had some success with Parrish. He's got 8 carries, 68 yards. We need to control this game. But you mentioned the time is not on their side. Now, we know they can put up points in a hurry. He's got to get their foot on the gas.
McIver on the sneak to move the chains on 3rd and inches. This is a team that over the last 5 years, dating back to 2021, has averaged 30 or more points per game in 4 of those seasons. Last year was the anomaly at just under 25 points per game. They were still a top 5 offense in Conference USA. And that'll take us to the 4th quarter. It's going to need a big boost from the Hilltoppers if they want to come out victorious and be the first Conference USA team to reach 4-0. And we talked about it before we went to break. WKU came out firing. First couple drives, 16 plays, 126 yards, almost 8 yards per play. But since that point, just 113 yards, just 4 yards per play. What has changed offensively? What has FIU done?
Well, what they've done is they're starting to confuse McElroy, number 7, the quarterback. They're changing up the reads a little bit for him, where secondary defenders are jumping into different spots post-snap. That confusion and that movement has really impacted Maverick in a way where he's just indecisive at this point.
McIver just 4 for his last 11 for 35 yards. Ball comes out, and it's still loose. There is an absolute fight for it near the 33-yard line. Western Kentucky somehow comes away with the football.
Well, Chucky, this is an incredible individual effort from Zion Chapman. Watch 90 here come into frame, almost untouched there. And he kind of flips the ball out using that right arm. But this has been the problem for Maverick. The picture has been changed, and he's been under duress.
Marshall Jackson, the left tackle, was the savior, scooping up
Please
that
set the game
fumble.
clock to 14:31. 14:31 on the game clock, please. We'll start on the ready for play.
Well, this is back-to-back weeks of this offense having some issues. Last week against Delaware, just 2 offensive touchdowns. It was their second lowest yardage total of the season to their loss at Toledo. Talked about their season average over 33. Their highest point total over the last 3 weeks, just 31 in their win over Nevada, as they go up the middle on 2nd and long, and now 3rd and a problem is what we'll call it.
No doubt about that. I mean, you have to credit FIU just defensively with mixing things up to create confusion for the quarterback. But they've also been able to get a lot of pressure, only rushing 4. That is a defensive coordinator's dream.
McIver stepping up. He dropped the football, scoops it back up, and now he's under some serious pressure. Spins away, throws it downfield. And that play is not nearly the disaster it could have been.
I mean, he's been struggling. He really has been struggling since the first quarter. You have to think that the pressure that's being put on him, the confusion of the looks, it's definitely impacting his confidence now, because these are easy plays that he would usually make. He's just completely out of sorts here because this defense has really had his number.
Just 2 touchdown passes over the last 3 weeks. Opened his Western Kentucky career with 400 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win over Sam Houston. A booming punt from Maynard is fair caught at the 15-yard line. And there are flags everywhere. I think every official in the state threw the laundry.
It is rare to see 4 on the field at a time. Let's see what they all saw that was so obvious.
Long discussion happening here between our officials. Everyone on pins and needles right now awaiting this verdict.
Really having some dialogue as well. Officials are.
It's interesting too, because you said it. Let's hear what this call is that was so obvious with 4 flags out there, but maybe they saw different things. Everyone saw something different. Might be listening upstairs as well. FIU coming into the night, -5 in turnover margin. They are +2 tonight. That's one of the big things Willie Simmons will be really happy with his team about. And here's the call potentially. They teased us for just a moment.
There are 2 fouls, one by each team. During the kick, holding receiving team number 15. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. After the play was over, flagrant personal foul, kicking team number 11, 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down, FIU. Number 11 has been ejected from the game.
That is Kent Robinson, the defensive back for Western Kentucky, who is ejected. Or it's actually, I think it was Robinson on the play. That's Lavelle Wright, the running back, who also wears 11. It might have been Wright. I think it was. He was out there on punt. Lavelle Wright is the one who has been ejected from the game. Well, the result of that play is slightly better field position for FIU with 13:09 to play in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10, they'll have the football at their own 22-yard line.
Now, Chucky, this is a pretty important drive for FIU. If they can eat up some clock here and end with some points, that lead will be stretched enough to where it's almost out of reach for Western Kentucky. So this is an important drive right now in this game if FIU wants to put it away.
They're averaging 7.5 yards per carry. They go to the ground with Anthony Carey and get back to the line of scrimmage, tackled by Elin Jones.
These running backs have been dynamic today, Chucky. Carey's got 8 carries for 41 yards. And Owens got 17 for 173 yards and that touchdown. Lots of productivity from the backs here today.
It is just the 3rd 100-yard rushing game of Keyshawn Owens' career. One of the other ones came in the win over FAU earlier this year, 173 yards and a pair of scores. 2nd and 9. Handoff Carey, who cuts upfield, just crossing the 25-yard line. They are happy to put the ball on the ground and let the clock tick.
No doubt about that. You see Western Kentucky here blitzing both backers on that last play there. This could spell another issue for FIU with Jenkins having to limp off. That means Kazansky's going to come back in the game, number 16. At quarterback.
Saw Pazanski at the end of the first half after Jenkins left with a rib issue. Jenkins re-entered in the second half. Now Pazanski again. 3rd and 6. They'll just go to the ground. And spinning around for the first down is Owens.
My goodness. They are so good on the ground. But Antonio Tripp, number 71, the right guard. Watch him come up and make this key block. He walls off 2 guys. Throws Anthony Brackenridge down to the ground at the backer position. This offensive line right now for FIU is just dominating.
Tripp was a former 4-star recruit. He's the 14th rated guard in the 2023 class. Went to Miami, spent 2 years there, and just moves across town to FIU. 1st and 10. Back to the ground with Owens and gets about a yard.
Nice job by Oliver there, coming in and making the tackle from his defensive end position. But for FIU, this is exactly where you want to be. Controlling your own destiny, milking the clock, keeping it on the ground. Now, what I'm curious about for Western Kentucky, Chucky, is when they start to dial up the blitz a little bit more. Zansky not as much as a running threat as Jenkins is at quarterback. Might need to dial it up to go after him.
230 to 102 on the ground in the favor of FIU. They go out to McGuire, lows the shoulder, Takes a couple big shots, but still able to get a few yards there on second down. This team tonight has been physical. Defensively, offensively, FIU has brought it.
Tenacity here on the outside. Watch him catch this. He's going to take the shot from Ali there and just keep on going upfield. It's really a mentality thing there, Chucky, when you have guys eating up the yard after contact. We got Jenkins back in the game now. See him there. He limped off a few plays ago. They're excited to have him back.
Keyshawn Owens in the backfield. 3rd and 6 for Keyshawn Jenkins. Getting it out quickly, and a high throw from McGuire Anderson is incomplete. Late flag, and there's a mix-up on the sideline. Dallas Payne was involved for FIU.
Jalen Emery, number 5, the nickel as well, was in there for Western Kentucky. Let's see what the call is. We really couldn't see much from the booth here because it was on the sideline, on the FIU sideline. But you see Payne blocking him there.
After the play was over, personal foul, offense number 0, blocking a player out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, the down counts, 4th down.
Sometimes, Chucky, when you're, quite frankly, dominating a guy, you don't really know where on the field you are because you're blocking him. So sometimes you see referees give a little bit of grace there, but not so much for Payne.
Under 9:30 to play in the 4th quarter. FIU leading by 3 scores. Trey Wilhoit on to punt this away to KD Hutchinson. One to snap this. They just got it off. Spiraling kick. Hutchinson calls for a fair catch at the 41-yard line. Good position for WKU. They need points in a hurry. One of the best offenses in the country being held to 6 so far. This Saturday, it's the SEC on ABC. A couple top 15 matchups. Ole Miss at Georgia, 3:30 Eastern. Then Tennessee at Alabama at 7:30 Eastern. Every game also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC all day, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. This FIU defense lost their top 8 tacklers, led by the Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year, Travion Barnes. They lost JoJo Evans, who went to Louisville. So you need new guys to step up. They got 3 young guys in the secondary who look like stars.
Yeah, they really do. And Mr. Clark's got an interception tonight. McGrew also has an interception tonight as well. Young guys really stepping up again for this defense.
They get it out to Musa Berry on the first down play to cross midfield and move the chains, a gain of about 12.
Tough reality defensively for FIU when you look at some of these guys. You mentioned Travion Barnes, played lights out last year, then transfers out. It's one of the threats that teams like FIU have when you have young players who play really well. Sometimes bigger universities can come in and try to get some of these student athletes. So it's just the nature of college football with where we are today.
And one of the good parts for that trio, all local guys out of Florida. So potentially able to keep them home, but also a lot of talent in the Miami area as MacIver is dragged down from behind by Zion Chapman. They've built that roster by staying local. They've got 80 players who are natives of Florida.
Yeah, they get the majority of their guys, local guys from Florida. So much talent there, though. It makes a lot of sense given the proximity for a lot of these football players.
3rd and 3 from MacIver. A little out route, a big hit from behind as they get it out to Cameron Flowers. Another first down for WKU.
This is where defensively, Brian Blaze, they're looking for him to step up and make some plays. You see the roster breakdown there, 80 players, all from the state of Florida for FIU.
Going over the middle and connecting with Noah Myers down to the 20-yard line. This is more like it for the Hilltoppers.
FIU had both linebackers, 35, Taylor and Cheney, 0. Out of position.
Not much doing on the first down handoff to George Hart.
And I'll tell you, Chucky, the surprise for Western Kentucky, number 4, Cameron Flowers, and 0, Matthew Henry. Both of them combined for only 2 catches. So these are guys they usually lean on. Haven't been productive or targeted here today.
Plenty of time for MacIver, throwing and picked off for the 2nd time tonight. Josiah McGrew, one of those talented freshmen, a true freshman from Tallahassee, his 2nd of the night, his 3rd of his freshman season.
He shows you again why they're so high on him. He's in the middle of this defense, sneaks right across. Somehow MacIver didn't even see him. Takes it the other way. FIU has the football again. They're looking to extend the lead when we come back. welcome back in, FIU. Up 25-6. McIver here with his offensive coordinator trying to talk through and figure out what is going on offensively. We saw this right before the break. Look at where this ball is going, Chucky. You've got a post route and you have a deep free safety in the middle. That ball should never go there. You should never throw that when you have a safety in the middle of field. Throwing a post route is a no-no, so the ball just should not go there. Not sure what Maverick McIver was seeing there, but that's part of the conversation that he's having with Rick Bowie, his offensive coordinator, on the sideline, is how to correct some of these uncharacteristic mistakes.
We talked about the talent from McGrew, but their defensive coordinator, Javon DeWitt, said he makes 95% of their coverage checks as a true freshman in that secondary. So it's not just the talent, it's the confidence and the ability to communicate confidently to his teammates in game that has made him so special. They said really early on, about 3 days into camp, they thought this kid had a chance to start as a true freshman.
And here's the truth about the free safety position. It feels a lot like the quarterback on defense, because this position is required to know what everyone else is doing. So it takes a smart, experienced player to do it. So the fact that McGrew is still a young guy, as a true freshman, being able to play lights out like that, the ceiling's really high for this kid.
Javon DeWitt, if it keeps going, he might crack open a book and churn one out. He said during the season he reads a book a week, off season 2 or 3 a week. We showed you some of his material earlier. Here's Owens bouncing outside. How many times have we seen that? There's a late flag that gets thrown. Keyshawn Owens on numerous occasions has come out of those kind of scrums and found space.
Holding. Offense, number 19. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Is that a feel thing? I mean, do you just kind of feel that space, or how as a running back, do you kind of master that craft?
It's really to a degree, and we'll see the hold here
for an injury
from Fournier, 19. You see him kind of pulling a little bit there, but it is a feel thing. But I tell you, what makes it easy is when you have an offensive lineman, those white jerseys, when they can turn their body, it's just visually, you can see exactly where to go instantly. So when you got a back like Owens and Carey able to dominate, that's how you put up all those big yards. We'll step aside for a second, check on the injured Panther.
Keyshawn Owens now over 600 yards on the season and a career high 195 on just 21 carries tonight. Trying to get over 200 yards. He has been a big part of the engine for FIU and the reason they lead 25-6. Gets the football again, looking for 200. Not going to get it on that carry, but gets 3. I think we're going to have the first timeout for Western Kentucky here, potentially.
Western Kentucky calls their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds. Please set the game clock to 5 minutes and 35 seconds. 5:35 on the game clock, please.
We certainly appreciate what FIU has been doing on the ground specifically today. This was the first big run from Owens up from the 5-yard line. Picks up a lot of big yards on that one particular play, but he wasn't done for the day. They kept featuring him, kept heading the football off. You see him on the inside zone run here, able to pick up some positive yardage. And again, this has been the story, this offensive line opening up these big holes. That time Carey was able to get up the field in a hurry. Another big one from Owens to the outside. They have just been fantastic. And this was the touchdown on the outside, and you see the physical running from Carey there as well. Both of these backs have been terrific, and it kind of makes me want to trickle on down to the field. Just give me one carry or so, Chucky, just 1 or 2. Probably pull a hamstring, but give me a shot.
3rd and 9, quick throw to Anderson on the tunnel screen, and that's a first down. Anderson all the way to the 49-yard line as they put it in the air and move the chains.
They have a gutsy call there on offense. Surprised to see them throw it, but Dwyer Anderson, the 5th-year senior, is a guy they like to feature. Does a nice job of getting out here in space and just running up the field to pick up the first down. Right now, the Panthers in prime position to continue to milk this clock.
Players-only meetings have been a discussion point in the Miami area this week. Some not going as well as others, but for FIU, they held one on Wednesday. Willie Simmons said they had one of their best practices of the season that day. Players kind of driving things, said the leadership committee came to him and he said, all right, that's fine. We won't do the regular meeting. You guys take care of it. They have come out motivated tonight. Certainly a team that doesn't seem like one who's coming off back-to-back losses.
But I just got so many questions about what did they talk about, what did they discuss, was there an agenda? But like a lot of times, it just takes a group of players coming together to say, this is not the standard of football that we want to play. No need to yell and scream and do all this other stuff. Just have a impactful conversation between teammates. Sometimes that's enough.
Flags on the field before the snap.
Like Antonio Tripp there.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The right guard. But I can't say enough positive things, Chucky, about this offensive line, from Pierce at his center position to Tripp at his guard. We've seen Daniel Michelle, 55, too, from the right tackle position, play well tonight. They really earned their keep here today on this offensive line.
2nd and 12. Handoff up the middle, tripped up near the 50-yard line to set up 3rd and 9. So FIU comes on the road to Bowling Green to take on Western Kentucky, who is the leader in Conference USA, entering the night at 3-0. Next week, they've got another one of the unbeaten
Western
teams.
Kentucky calls their 2nd timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
In the conference.
Please set the game clock to 3 minutes and 33 seconds. 3:33 on the game clock, please.
Back home against Kennesaw State. Another Tuesday game, mind you. Then at Missouri State, at Middle Tennessee. So a chance to really set yourself up in the conference. You're going to go back against another game on a Tuesday. Then you play on a Wednesday, then on a Saturday. So it's also about the preparation, which both coaches talked about the different week in getting ready for a Tuesday game. But there is a great opportunity a week from tonight when they play Kennesaw State.
Well, look, I mean, you have to think about, too, just the night and day difference between last week to this week. Against UConn, they got beat up all the way across the board at every level. And so to come back and to play like this today, it's just a confidence boost to say, we know we got the right players in the room. We know we can play. Everyone just needs to be able to execute like they did today. I got a chance to beat anyone in the conference.
Both coaches said, hey, today's Saturday for them. When we talked to them on Thursday and Friday, that was Monday and Tuesday for them as far as practice weeks went. Jenkins out into the flats for Verdugo, who caught the opening touchdown of the night for FIU. First touchdown of his career.
Western Kentucky calls their third and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Western Kentucky calls timeout here on 4th down. Coming up on Monday, we got a Week 7 Monday Night Football doubleheader again. First, Bucks-Lions at the special start time of 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and ABC. And then the Texans head to Seattle to face the Seahawks on ESPN at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Both are available on ESPN Deportes and the all-new ESPN app. Coverage kicks off at 3 Eastern with NFL Live at Ford Field, followed by Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew. Texans coming off a bye after they got a big win a couple weeks ago. Western Kentucky, how about what they've got going on recently? The last 4 NFL drafts, they've had at least a 3rd-round draft pick in those. I just want to point out Upton Stout for the 49ers, having a fantastic rookie year for them.
Real good for sure. And that's the story for Western Kentucky. They've been able to build a program, more importantly, a pipeline to the NFL.
Of course, Bailey Zappi, back in that incredible 2021 season he had that really started what has been an offensive explosion at Western Kentucky. I say that as there's 6 points on the scoreboard tonight.
I mean, it's a shock, though. It really is a shock. I mean, if you would have asked me towards the end of this game into the 4th quarter, would Western Kentucky not have scored a touchdown? No one would have thought that. Now, the truth is the Panthers have done a good job defensively in changing the looks, but we've seen Maverick McIver struggle really for the first time this season in this kind of fashion here tonight.
A redshirt freshman from Jacksonville, Florida, Rodney Tisdale Jr. will get an opportunity as he hands it off on the first play. Tisdale just 6 for 8 for 94 yards and a touchdown on the season. Very limited opportunities. He redshirted last year behind TJ Finley and Caden Veldkamp. What a chance for him to get some good game action against a talented FIU defense.
Not a doubt. These reps are so important for development for young players.
A nice throw downfield to KD Hutchinson. Cuts it back inside across the 25. We talked about the success Tyson Helton has had in going in the portal and getting quarterbacks. If you're Rodney Tisdale as a young quarterback, you want to give him a reason not to go to the portal next year.
It's one of the things you can do with end-of-game play. See what you got in your young players. Nice job by Brian Blades there, breaking that football up. But a lot of questions coming out of today for Western Kentucky offensively. Not only at the quarterback position, but even on this offensive line.
Please set the game clock to 2 minutes and 23 seconds. 2-2-3 on the game clock, please. Thank you.
They struggled to protect as well on that offensive line today. Just not the overall team outing that they expected by any means.
Second and 10 for Tisdale. Into the flats, and not much doing as Victor Evans and Mr. Clark are in on the stop of George Hart out of the backfield.
What a day for this secondary for FIU. Mr. Clark has that interception. McGrew has 2 interceptions as well.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
And we go to the 2-minute timeout. They missed Brian Blades and Shamir Sterling a week ago. They're both back tonight. It's been a good night for FIU. not the night Maverick McIver had hoped for tonight. The grad student from Texas, transferred in from Abilene Christian, had just 2 interceptions on the season, but threw 3 in the game tonight. That one in the red zone to start the game after a great drive really hurt the Hilltoppers' chances. So they do move the chains here with Tisdale on 3rd and long.
Here's the truth too, Chucky. I mean, really, really good football players can sometimes have a bad night. So it happens. But I think what an incredible opportunity Western Kentucky has with the rest of their season to be able to bounce back in a way, because they still have everything that they want in terms of a conference championship, in terms of a positive and productive season. That's all still in front of them. As we get a look at Noah Myers there, who picks up the 1st down. But the Hilltoppers still have a whole lot to play for the rest of the way. This is going to be a bump in the road for sure. But again, what an opportunity to be able to come back and to bounce back, as we saw FIU do today after a big loss last week.
Tisdale throws a great ball, as he is showing right now down the stretch in this game. Western Kentucky hits the road next week to take on Louisiana Tech. New Mexico State after that one. They will also play on Tuesday next week before getting back on the Saturday schedule with New Mexico State. So they'll have another 10-day break between games. 1st and 10 from the 26. Tisdale pump fakes and then dives ahead to the 21-yard line.
You mentioned a couple of those throws from Tisdale. 5 of 6 right now for 66 yards. He looks pretty comfortable in the pocket. Now, they're not putting pressure on him. But so far, so good for the redshirt freshman.
Again, plenty of time. Checks it down. And a broken tackle out there for Hard, who was then swarmed by white jerseys. Clock ticks down, under 45 seconds to play.
Good job by Hard, just protecting himself there. That could have been a lot worse in terms of the hit he took. Nice job of getting that pad level down.
Third down for Tisdale. Quick throw to Hutchinson, who is pinballed around and dropped at the 21-yard line, and that'll be the last play of the football game in what was a very impressive performance, start to finish, for the FIU Panthers and Willie Simmons.
Well, for me, for FIU, really impressed with the running game, specifically the backs and the offensive line. I thought they were terrific. And then defensively, what a change and a shift for them defensively to be able to stop a really dynamite quarterback for Western Kentucky. So good team effort for FIU.
First road win for FIU since October 18th of 2023. That snaps 10 straight losses on the road. For our producer, Craig Rothberg, director Aaron Angel, graphics producer Cam Guidry, my partner Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. So long from Bowling Green, Kentucky. All FIU tonight as they get back in the win column.